Welcome to Commander Tilt. My name is Clark. Just a little bit about my channel. I build budget commander decks and I play them against themselves in a bracket style competition. The word tilt is an old jousting term, which means a competition, when the two jousters would go against each other. First tilt up! Anyway, in my bracket that I do, my goal is to see which decks are the best and a chance to play Magic. And then I get really addicted to watching those shows where one person gets voted off each week. I just really like those shows. So I like this competition that I have built, this Commander Tilt competition, because each week a deck is eliminated and who's going to be the last one standing. Now this is a little unique. The first time I've done it for this channel is a double elimination, so the first deck out will actually just go to the loser bracket for a chance to come back at the end and try to upset the overall victor. So today's competition, I have Bicycle Built for 2 versus Instant Satisfaction. Now, we've played the Feather deck before on this channel. In fact, Feather was the very first video that I have ever done. To be honest, I'm not rich. Obviously, I'm a budget player, and I don't have an unlimited amount of decks. So I decided to take the number 1 and 2 from Commander Tilt 1 and number 1 and 2 from Commander Tilt 2 and put them into this one. And this can be kind of like a super battle. And so Feather was obviously the victor from the last one, and this is her chance to see if she can continue her winning streak. So many of you know Feather decks pretty well. Feather is a 3/4 legendary creature angel with flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature you control, exile that card instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. If you do so, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Feather is a really good deck because it's a red deck that has card draw, a pseudo card draw, because those instants and sorceries go right back to your hand. In fact, I had to put Reliquary Tower into the deck because I ended up sometimes getting a hand that was so big I was having to discard in red and white in Boros. The other deck I'm playing is Kydele and Ravos, and one of the things I like about this deck is when I tell somebody I'm playing Kydele and Ravos, they have really no idea what my strategy is going to be. I'll read Kydele and Ravos for you. Kydele, Chosen of Krufix, is a 2/3 legendary creature human wizard for 2 and Simic, and 2 green-blue. She has tap, add colorless to your mana pool for each card you've drawn this turn, and she has partner, obviously. So if you've drawn 2 cards, you can tap her for 2 mana. If you've drawn 8 cards, you can tap her for 8 mana. Ravos Soul Tender is a legendary creature human cleric, 2/2 with flying. He costs 3 and Orzhov, so 3 white-black, and he has other creatures you control get +1/+1. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And, of course, he has partner. So I chose these 2 commanders for a very specific purpose. I planned on making a cycling deck. And, obviously, Kydele helps out with cycling because if you cycled 3 or 4 cards, then you can tap her for 4 or 5 because you drew that first card. Ravos is there mainly just for the colors, but that Anthem can be helpful. And then also returning a creature card from your graveyard to your hand, that is another target to cycle the next turn. That is the 2 decks that we're going to play today. And, a couple of quick just housekeeping notes. Partway through the game, I play the card New Perspectives. A New Perspective says when New Perspectives enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. As long as you have 7 or more cards in your hand, you may pay 0 rather than pay cycling costs. Costs 5 and a blue. Now, to note, I had a huge rules infraction. In fact, I had 2, and I decided that I would just go ahead and let this video go because I'm going to explain why. First off, I sort of forgot about that part where it says as long as you have 7 or more cards. I just I haven't played this card a whole lot, and I thought it just said cycling's for free. So, as you can see, I discard, because of Forgotten Creation, I discard 4 cards to draw 4 cards, and then I start cycling again. And so, if you're a strict rules lawyer, every single one of those cycles is illegal. And I don't know how many I did a bunch of them. However, I also forgot the first part of the card where it says when new perspective enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. So at that point, when I started cycling those cards, I should have had 3 more cards in my hand. So I should have had 7 cards. So I lost out on having 3 extra cards in my hand. And then I started cycling with only 4 cards. And so I lost a huge advantage not having those 3 cards. And if I'd had those 3 cards, virtually every cycle that I do would have been legal. In fact, if I'd remembered that caveat, I wouldn't have probably played a land or 2 and always had 7 cards in my hand. So with that in mind, I decided, well, since I just crippled my own self with the fact that I didn't draw those 3 cards, I went ahead and let this battle stand rather than try to reshoot it. Just another quick note, this is always a best of 3 competition. When I went to shoot these, the first battle, Feather won outright in about 4.5 minutes. It was crazy, and I was like, this isn't going to be a good video for the channel because, it's so fast. The second battle, the cycling deck won, but I didn't get a good recording of it because the computer just stopped recording about halfway through. So then I played a third game, and I was sabotaged by my daughter, and she came in and started messing with stuff, and it just didn't work, and so I didn't get a good recording. The fourth battle, also there wasn't a good recording, so I'm sitting here playing Magic, and I was just like, oh wait, okay, this computer stopped again. So this is actually the 5th battle. I decided to just completely discard the 3rd and 4th battle because I didn't get good clean recordings of them. And so I just said, okay, erase the slate. Battle 5 is the battle, So I was a little to the point of frustration because I'd played 5 games of Magic, and I didn't even realize I'd broken the rule of new perspectives until I started editing 3 days after, and I just said, okay, well, we're going with this. It'll be fine. So with that in mind, I sure hope you appreciate the battle today, and let's get into the hands. Bicycle for 2's opening hand was World Shaper, Finale of Eternity, Yoked Plow Beast, Disciple of Malice, Irrigated Farmland, Secluded Steppe, and a Plains. Feather's opening hand was Opaline Unicorn, Walking Atlas, Young Pyromancer, Gilded Lotus, Windscarred Crag, Secluded Steppe, and a Plains? They both drew a Secluded Steppe and a Plains. Well, that's just funny. The cycling deck won the die roll. Let's get started.
I am Sir Oakley of Riverbend, otherwise known as the Bant Sojourner. Why am I known as the Bant Sojourner? Well, of course, I am from Bant, and I am staying abroad. Sojourn simply means to stay in a place which is not your own home. Now, I am not great friends with Ravos, but Kydele, she is perhaps one of my greatest allies, and she asked me today to help dictate the events that transpire in this strange battle that we are about to behold. So, with your permission, I shall now begin.
My name is Alistair Papachrysodoulopoulos, but most people call me Paps. Commonly called a Crowan Crusader. I've been asked by Feather to narrate this battle, and it's primarily because Feather's feeling a bit under the weather. Don't have a problem, I do anything for my general. So with that, we shall get into this battle.
First, we shall put down a Secluded Steppe and pass the turn.
Right, so we're gonna bring our first draw. It's a Fumigate. Put down a Windscarred Crag, gaining a life, and I'll pass the turn.
We shall untap. Our draw is the Hollow One. We shall put down an island. And then we shall tap 2 mana to cycle the Disciple of Malice, drawing an island. Pass the turn.
Shall untap. Our draw is a Burnished Heart. So put down a plains and tapping the 2 mana, I get Walking Atlas onto the battlefield.
Shall untap. Our draw this turn is Bone Miser. What a creepy fellow. We shall put down an island for our turn. Then we shall tap 2 mana to cycle the Yoked Plow Beast, drawing Opulent Palace. Pass the turn.
Shall untap. Draws an emergency zone. Shall put a secluded step onto the battlefield, and then tapping the Walking Atlas, I get emergent zone as well. Tap 2 mana for Young Pyromancer. That's the turn.
Thank you. I shall untap. Draw is the Thornwood Falls. Shall put down the Opulent Palace, tapped. It's my land for turn. Then I shall tap 2 mana and cycle the Hollow One, drawing Desert of the Mindful, and pass the turn.
Shall untap. Draw this turn. The mountains. I shall tap 3 mana for Feather. The Redeemed. Put down the mountain for my land for turn. Moving to combat, I swing with the Young Pyromancer.
I cannot block. Shall untap. Draw this turn is New Perspectives. I shall put down a plains as my land for turn. Next, having 5 mana, I tap it for the Bone Miser. Pass the turn.
Shall untap. I draw this turn. It's Path to Exile. Shall I play the said Path to Exile? On the Bone Miser.
Shall search up an island.
Take that, you creepy zombie. Next, shall move to combat. And I shall swing with the Young Pyromancer and Feather.
Can declare no blockers.
Then I shall tap nearly all my mana for the Oberlane Unicorn. Pass the turn.
Shall untap. My draw this turn is Death's Grasp. Next I tap all of my mana for New Perspectives. Then I shall cycle Desert of the Mindful and get Sheffet Monitor. I cycle the Monitor and get Golgari Rot Farm. Then I cycle the Irrigated Farmland and get Whisper Blood Liturgist and pass the turn.
Shall untap. Draw this turn. Armillary Sphere. Way too much ramp. Play the Gilded Lotus. Then I tap the Gilded Lotus for Armillary Sphere. Then I tap 2 mana. One of it was floating from the Gilded Lotus, and I sacrificed the Armillary Sphere to get a plains and a mountain onto the battlefield. Then for my land return, I play a plains, and I tap the Walking Atlas to put a plains onto the battlefield. Moving to combat, I swing with Feather and the Young Pyromancer. Pass the turn.
Turn 7, and I have no creatures. My draw is Forgotten Creation. Put down a Thornwood Falls, and then I shall tap the mana for the Forgotten Creation. And I pass the turn.
At first I shall untap. Draw this turn as a mountain. Shall put down the mountain. Then I shall attack with my 2 creatures, as well as the Oberlane Unicorn and the Walking Atlas. Oh,
I shall use the Forgotten Creation to block the Young Pyromancer.
goodbye, Young Pyromancer. Still hit for damage. Next I'm going to tap the mana for Banished Heart. Just have too much ramp. And I pass the turn.
First, I shall untap. Before my draw, I shall discard my hand and draw 5 new cards. I get Jessian Zombies, A Forest, Bant Sojourners, Angel of the God Pharaoh, and Blossoming Sands. To put down the Blossoming Sands, gain a life, I cycle the Jessian zombies and draw a swamp. Then I tap the mana for Kydele, chosen of Prufix. And pass the turn.
Right to shell untap. Draw this turn is Traveler's Amulet. Tap a single mana for the Traveler's Amulet. Then I'll tap another mana and get another land. Not like I need it. Goodness gracious, there's another mountain. Next I'll sacrifice the Banished Heart for 2 more planes. That's what I need. Swing with Feather.
I shall declare no blocker. First, I shall untap. I shall cycle the Bat Sojourners and draw right to Flourishing. I cycle Angel of God Pharaoh and cycle Desert of the Indomitable. I cycle Desert of the Indomitable and get Monetary Siege. And then I discard my hand. 4 cards go to the graveyard, and I get Curator of Mysteries, Ancient Excavation, Shimmer Scale Drake, and Vile Manifestation. I shall cycle Ancient Excavation and look for a basic land in my deck. I'll take this moment to thank you for listening to this broadcast as I look for what? I don't have a single basic land. Well, I shall cycle the Shimmer Scale Drake and get Drake Haven. By this point, I have drawn 8 cards, so I tap Kydele, floating 8 colorless mana. I shall tap a white and a black, and use 3 of the colorless mana to play Ravos, my compatriot in arms. This gives my creatures +1/+1, all 2 of them. Then I shall tap a blue, and use 2 more colorless for Drake Haven. Next, I shall cycle the Curator of Mysteries, and pay 1 mana from my floating to get a Drake, and draw a command tower.
A faster shall untap. Draws a mountain. Jump it down the mountain. Then moving to combat, I'll swing with Feather.
I shall block with the Drake.
Do nothing. I'll pass the turn.
Finally feel stabilized. Shall untap. Analyzing my options. Before my untap step, I'll just take my draw. I get Wharf Infiltrator. Shall tap the mana for Vile Manifestation, which has 11/+1 counters on it. I remember Ravos lets me get the Curator of Mysteries back to my hand, which I then immediately cycle, drawing Spider Spawning. This puts another creature in the graveyard, getting Vile Manifestation bigger. Next, I'm going to tap most of my mana for the Spider Spawning. Previously counted 11 creatures in my graveyard, so I get 11 1/2 spider tokens with Breach. Recall, Ravos gives them an anthem. They are actually 2/3 spiders. To put down the command tower as my land for turn, and moving to combat, I shall swing with the Forgotten Creation.
A block. The Walking Atlas.
Now I definitely feel stabilized, and pass the turn.
Faster shall untap. Draw is Royal. Cast Royal, hoping to draw a card. Really hoping for some kind of combat trick. Do a lot of damage. No, another stupid rump spell. Moving to combat, I'll swing with Feather.
I declare no blocks.
And pass the turn.
First, I shall untap. My draw this turn is a Seaside Citadel. Moving to combat, I shall swing with 11 spiders, the Forgotten Creation, and the Vile Manifestation.
Or I'm gonna take that Opaline Unicorn and block that big giant Vile Manifestation.
That knocked him down a peg. Next, I shall tap 2 mana for the Wharf Infiltrator, and then I tap all of my mana to cast Spider Spawning Flashback style, gaining 11 more 1/2 Spider creature tokens with Reach. Last turn, I should have blocked Feather with one of those Reach Spider tokens.
I am gonna untap my one land. Draws Urbask the Hidden. All will be reforged in the fires of glory. Gonna cast Royal. Draw a card. Boros Key Rune. Not useful. Time to cast Fumigate. Take out all your creatures and I get a boatload of life.
Oh, that is really unfortunate. I have a lot of creatures. Well, goodbye to my army. I shall see you again. Well, maybe not.
Of course, Feather goes to the command zone. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and tap the 5 mana necessary to cast Feather again with the command attacks. There you go, put it now. I'll go ahead and tap a couple more mana for the spell Boros K Rune, and I'll pass the turn.
I shall untap. Oh goodness, when Fumigate went off, I forgot about this Wharf Infiltrator. Here, Feather, have another life.
Thanks a lot.
I draw this turn is a Keen Eye Aven. I shall cycle the Keen Eye Aven, getting Jungle Weaver. I cycle Jungle Weaver, drawing Urborg Elf. I shall tap 2 mana for each of those cycles that I just did, and gain 2 Drakes from Drakehaven. Next, I shall tap 2 mana for the Urborg Elf, and pass the turn.
Hey, first I'm gonna tap all my lands. Draw his Prismatic Lens. Another ramp spell. I tap the mana for Urbrask the Hidden. Moving to combat, I'll swing with Feather and Urbrask.
I shall block Urabrask with the Urborg Elf, and one of the Drakes shall block Feather.
And I'll pass the turn.
I shall untap. My draw this turn is Viscera Dragger. Creepy little fellow. Oh, I'll cycle him away and get Creeping Renaissance. And I shall play Creeping Renaissance, naming creatures! At this point, I get to put every creature from my graveyard directly onto the battlefield. As you can see, there are a great many creatures that enter the battlefield. This is, to me, an excellent turn of events.
I remember Urbrask's footprints in play tapped.
Every creature is tapped, except for 1 Drake.
First to show and tap. Draw his ramp spell. I'll attack with my creatures. What else am I gonna do?
I shall block Feather with the Drake.
Pass the turn.
First I shall untap. Then I shall move to combat with this army of creatures. And with that, I have claimed victory for Kydele and Ravos.
And there you have it. The cycling deck has won the battle, and the bicycle built for 2 is moving on to the next round. Feather will drop to the loser bracket with a chance to redeem herself. And now I move on to filming my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I do have a Patreon page, and I would love it if you would visit my page and take a look at the rewards that are available. It would help me out a lot. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you hear about my latest videos. Have a great day. What do you get if you cross a bike with a flower? Bicycle pedals. What do you call a professional cyclist who just broke up with his girlfriend? Homeless. What does a bicycle call its dad? Popsicle. Popcycle? Pop whatever. Why did the little boy take his bicycle to bed with him? Because he didn't want to walk in his sleep. Why do bicycles fall asleep? Because they're tired. When is a bicycle not a bicycle? When it turns into a driveway.